All right, welcome. How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of Technology Tuesday. I'm your host, Greg Russell, here with my good friend, partner in crime, Mr. Jerry Franklin Poe, and we got an exciting show for you guys lined up today, and can't wait to dig into the content. So listen, if you are watching us live, put hashtag live in the comments and let us know. Okay, we got a message here about the broadcast not going out to one of our things, but we will handle that on the back end. So if you're catching a replay, do a hashtag replay and let us know that you are catching a replay and let us know where you're tuning in from. We really appreciate that. Want to make a big shout out to all of our faithful followers and friends and some of our syndication partners. Thank you guys for the support and the love. And we are about to dive in right now. And today we're going to talk about some challenges that entrepreneurs are having with merchant accounts. So, everybody wants to make money online, but how are you going to get that money in your hand? And over the past couple of years, that has been more challenging than not. And we're going to talk about it today on Technology Tuesday.
All right. We are back, folks. Back in the building again, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here every week to bring you practical knowledge and practical solutions for your business. And Greg has some things been pressing on his heart, things have been perplexing his mind, and he's gonna be some vent. We were pre-show, and he was telling me he got a lot to vent about. So I'm like, oh my goodness, Greg's venting. It's
Yeah,
gotta be
man.
something really major coming up.
Pretty annoyed, pretty want to just punch the wall type situation. We're going to dive all into it, and hopefully we can help you guys with navigating these merchant accounts with what I'm going to share today. So before we dive in, going to have our favorite segment. That is Mindset Minute by Mr. Jerry Poe.
So, Greg, because we've been friends for wow, over 10 plus years now, that I'm always observing, always watching, always looking for lessons to learn. And I just recently watched a show on Apple TV. So I have, the
Mhm.
streaming services, and sometimes when I want to chill and just relax, I'll binge watch something. So I think I'm late to this one. It's called Swagger. It's been out probably for a while. It's 2 seasons. And I know I had heard people talking about it before, so I'm probably late to the party. But when one of the episodes, there was a lesson that came up. And for those who don't know the show, this is about a basketball team. It's about the AAU basketball and how these coaches are out there. Some of them making money off the players. Some of them are there for the development of the players. And Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., I think it's his name.
Okay.
He's one of the coaches. He's in there. So it was a great series. Don't get me. If you haven't watched this, I definitely recommend watching it. But there's this tattoo he has on his arm, and the tattoo was said 24P. It was he basically his concept he had learned from his dad, who was also a basketball coach, of being a 24-hour person, a
24-hour
24-hour
person.
person. And when I heard about that, it resonated with me because it's something that I'd always shared with people when they were talking about friendship, and they would tell me about like birthdays and Christmas and celebrations. And I'd
Okay.
be like, hey, that's cool. You can get me a card, but I'd rather you be there at 2 p.m. when I need like a flat tire fixed, or like I'm stuck on the side of the road.
That's right.
Like, yeah, it's cool you give me a Christmas present, but I'd rather you be there, you know what I mean, in like, August 23rd when it's not my birthday, and like, I'm stuck somewhere and I need somebody to come pick me up from the airport, So the idea of being a 24-hour person is the concept of being there for people through the good times and the bad times, not just being someone who runs away when things are getting tough.
Hmm.
Like, because you have those friends, what they call them, fair weather friends, that when everything is good, they're cool, and when things get tough, they be like they're gone. You can't find them. You can't see them.
Yeah, I think we've all
You're probably
experienced
wondering, like,
people like
well,
that in our life. Yeah.
you experienced people like that before, Greg? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like they're there during the high times, they're there when it's cool, but they're not there when it's rough. Like, you know who your real friends are when things get tough. So the being this 24-hour person, the person that's there for someone all the time, no matter what day, no matter what time of the day, no matter what part of the year it is going to be. And how does that relate to your business? Well, a lot of us who are building a network, you're building a list, you're building a database, you're building a tribe. Um, how often do you communicate with them? Do you only reach out to them when you want to make an offer? Do you only reach out to them when you want to do a launch? Do you only reach out to them when you need something from them? Or do you reach out to them on a consistent basis?
Mm,
Are you a 24-hour person in their lives? One of the
wow.
ways for you to build a strong network, to build a strong following, to build a strong tribe is to build relationship with people and to consistently speak to their lives, consistently add value to them, consistently share with them, and not just when you need something from them or you need them to take action. If you want them to take action from you in a more consistent and a more immediate fashion, that's all going to be predicated on how consistent you are with them and how consistent you add value to their lives. So, are you a 24-hour person when it comes to your database? That's the question I want you to think about today as you're listening to Technology Tuesday is how often do you communicate with your list? Are you consistent? And do you only communicate when you need something from them or you need action from them?
Wow, that's powerful. Consistency is the key. That major C word, consistency, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and it's interesting because as we look at that and we think about when we first started off, he's like, do you have that friend who's only there when it's good, right? And then when you went into it, you could see, well, maybe it's you who's not the good friend when it comes to your list and your business. So, and I think, as entrepreneurs, we, and I'm going to say we, all and most have experienced that where it's like we haven't really treated our list as well, and I think that's a growing process. And I can say, for me personally, I've been there, I've done it, I have not communicated with my list as often as I should, and I can remember reading about other A-list marketers who've done the same thing. So I think it's a learning growth period that we have to go through as entrepreneurs to determine what kind of relationship we want to have with our list. Because everybody says the money's in the list, um, but how is your relationship with that list, which will determine how much money's in the list. So there you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, man.
So, for those who are listening live or catching the replay, what are your thoughts on that? The idea of being a 24-hour person. We're interested to hear your comments, um, and what questions you might have about how you can be more consistent, or what can you do, or how do you create a schedule to communicate with your tribe, your database.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's something that, we're here at Technology Tuesday. We're here to help support you in those types of things, those types of questions. And it doesn't have to be an everyday thing. Like, you could be once a week, it could be once a month. The key is that they know when you're going to show up. To being a
Yep.
24-hour person is having folks know that you are going to show up. And that's really the basic premise, the basic foundation. There are some people in your life you don't really know, are they going to show up? If you call their number, are they going to pick up? If you send a text message, are they going to reply? So the question is, when it comes to your list, um, do they know you're going to show up in their inbox once a month, or do you know they're going to see an update from you at once a week, or are they going to get something from you, however often? There's this one person, and I'm not on Twitter or X as much as I used to be, since the changing of the hands of the services.
The
I don't
changing of the
post there as
hands.
much. Yeah, they things have moved from
Yeah.
one person to another. So, but there's this person that tweets every day at 7 a.m. and I would know like an alarm clock. Oh, it's 7 because my phone would chime in the morning, and I'd be like, "Up, that's that person's tweet coming through,"
Yep.
because
Yep.
it's always at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday or whatever. And they might even do it on the weekends too. But I would know, like, it says, "Oh, it's 7 a.m." because my phone made a noise as I was like, brushing my teeth or something. Because I'm on the road about to speak somewhere, and it's like, "Oh, it's okay." It's that tweet came through because they were consistent. And it could
Right.
have been like one quote, it could have been an article they were sharing, it could have been something, but they were consistent the same time, the exact same time every single day.
There you
So
go,
you could
man.
be the
I
exact
think,
same time once a week. Go
yes,
ahead,
sir.
Greg.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Yes, every week, man. Every week. As challenging as it may be at times, be consistent. Consistency is one of those things. It's kind of like the little secret of success, right? And one of the things that I've learned over the years is success is found in your daily routine, right? And your daily routine is consistency stacked on top of each other. And so that's kind of how, one of the things you have to look at, are you being consistent on the things that put money in your pocket? And a lot of times when you start to really analyze your time and what you're doing, if you're not growing at the rate you want to grow, it's because you're inconsistent in certain activities that could help you grow. Um, so yeah, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And let's uh, let's shift gears a little bit, man, and talk about when it comes to making money on the internet, because that's kind of what we love to help people do. Um, how sometimes for me it's like I deal with a lot of different companies in a lot of different verticals, and it's like when it comes to actually getting the money in your hand, because there's a lot of shiny objects. There's the web pages and the automations and the marketing messages and the graphics, but at the end of the day, it all comes to how you're going to get the money in your hand. And this topic is something that has been kind of in my face the last couple of weeks, and this is dealing with merchant accounts, right, or payment processors. So when it comes to actually getting money into your hand, how do you do it, right? And so for me, when I first started off many years ago, my first payment processor was PayPal. And so with PayPal, we were able to process cards, create a product inside of PayPal. Now PayPal is a unique situation because with PayPal, for those who don't know, the money goes into your PayPal account and it stays in your PayPal account until you tell it to give yourself money, and you can send it to your bank. But when funds come in, you it's in your PayPal account. Now you can spend it from PayPal if somebody else has PayPal or accepts PayPal, and you can spend the money from your PayPal account so the funds don't never have to enter your account. However, as you grow, you will notice that PayPal has its own challenges. PayPal has grown over the years. They were sold several times, and if I'm correct, I believe they are owned by Citibank right now. I think Citibank now owns PayPal. I could be wrong. If somebody knows, let me know in the chat who owns PayPal. But I think it's Citibank. Um, but over time, PayPal has, for most entrepreneurs, people outgrow it. And I do know of entrepreneurs who have had a lot of money held up in PayPal because PayPal will freeze their account, and that has been a thing that entrepreneurs are afraid of dealing with these merchant accounts and having their funds frozen. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, because if you're trying to start a business today, or if you have a business today, Jerry, I'm seeing a challenge on either side. So what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing about, because I have several clients who are just starting out, have their PayPal account shut down, right? Before they even started really processing anything. And PayPal, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. Stripe account. So Stripe is another payment processor, which is not technically a merchant account. And we'll explain what that is in a second. PayPal, I'm sorry, Stripe acts like a merchant account, but is not a merchant account. So Stripe will basically allow you to process payments, and they will send the money to your bank account. Unlike PayPal, it won't sit there. It will automatically go to your bank account in a number of days. And that's how a merchant account functions. Now, a merchant account functions differently in that there is a merchant and a gateway, right? And so the gateway processes the payment, and the merchant then puts the money into your account. Typically, this has a monthly fee, usually anywhere from $10 to $19 somewhere in there, depending on your account when you sign up. And Authorize.net is the oldest that I know of oldest, most popular online payment processor around. So you have PayPal, which most people start out with, AuthorizeNet, and then Stripe came along a few years ago and has really blown up because Stripe was like the middle. It was like, you're not PayPal because we're not going to keep your money on our account. We're going to put it into your account. We're not a merchant account. We're not going to charge you every single month. We're only going to charge you a percentage of the fees that come in. And typically those fees were similar or very close to PayPal. So Stripe got very popular. So the challenge is that people who are starting off now are having a hard time getting or keeping their Stripe accounts open because Stripe has grown and they are now shutting down accounts. So if you can even Google Stripe closed account, you'll see people talking about it. There's YouTube videos out there. And to make a long story short, Stripe is in a position where they're so big now that they are responsible for the funds you process, right? So if someone asks for a refund and they go to pull that from your account and that money's not there, they have to cover it. And because Stripe is not a quote unquote merchant account where they're charging you for that service every month, they are now deciding that they don't want certain accounts. They don't want creator accounts, which includes coaching, right? So if you are in the selling of information, a coach, a consultant, they really don't want those type of accounts anymore. And they are looking at businesses and closing accounts left and right, and people are getting frustrated. So this has sent me on a path to be like, okay, well, what else is out there? And so I started and I found another merchant account. And it's not just, here's the thing, Jerry, it's not just about having a merchant account. It's about having a payment gateway system that works with the other tools that you have. So if you have a CRM system or a billing platform, it has to work with one of the systems, right? And so a lot of times, some of these systems don't work with everything. So some of the popular CRM systems will give you a choice, right? And they'll say, we work with this one, this one, this one, and this one. So that limits you to what you can work with your system, right? So it's challenging. It's starting to get challenging to find what payment process system can I use with the tools that I already have so that I can make everything work. And so if you have a payment processor like PayPal, but your CRM system doesn't use PayPal, you're in a situation because now you can't process payments. And a lot of times the devil's in the details because some of these companies will allow you to it'll say you can process payments, but like for example, PayPal. With PayPal, it'll process payments, but you can't do reoccurring payments within their system. So if you wanted to do a membership or something like that, you're locked out. So the challenge, Jerry, is finding the right mixture of stuff. And what I learned is if you're just starting out, you have some challenges because you don't have the history, and you may not have a business bank account set up. If you're just starting out, you may be a sole prop. And a lot of these companies no longer want to allow these startup businesses to process credit cards. And so if you don't have the history, and you can't get one of the ones that work with your system, you're in a challenge. And that's what has been annoying me because it's like, these people are trying to start their businesses, grow their businesses. And I remember hearing about this divide and the middle class shrinking. And I'm actually seeing it now because the people who are starting can't get the things they need to get going. And those that have already started, I'm going to share this with you, are finding challenges in uh, getting some of these new merchant accounts as well, even if you have a history of over 10 years of processing. So um, I want your thoughts on that because that's what's really at the core of my frustration with merchant accounts in the state of 2024. Because whether you're just starting out or you're established, there's these challenges preventing you from being able to get a merchant accounts that work with your system.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot there. Um, I mean, one of the questions I had for you is when you were telling me some of the challenges is you were talking about the different protocols or hoops you were talking about that you had to jump through and like why they were asking for this because some of the stuff you were not able to get it to prove it. They were saying something about what's on you, like things you put on your website. They wanted you to have proof as to what those are. Um, and the other thing about it was like the pattern for those who are losing their accounts with Stripe is like, okay, well, it's who's it happening to? Is there a pattern to it? Is it random? Things of that nature. But for
No,
you, like with go ahead.
no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead with the question. I'll answer both.
Yeah, so I know you were talking about some of the hoops they're making you jump through, and why do you feel well what why my speculation was like, oh, they're trying to prevent fraud, like it's like there's a big fraud issue. um but you have images on your website for different media outlets that you were featured on, and now they want you to prove that, right? They had to prove that you were featured on those media outlets.
Yep. Yes. All right. So we'll deal with this first one, which is so let me back up for everyone else who's listening, and then we'll share. So because of some of the challenges some of my clients were having, um, I currently have a Stripe account and I currently have a authorized.net account. And I have a PayPal account. So I don't really use PayPal too much, but I still use the other two. So I was looking for another one that would work with Go High Level, right? So Go High Level is a CRM, and they accept PayPal, um, authorized.net. Stripe is the main one, and a company called NMI. And so I was looking at this other company that I believe is a reseller for NMI, but they work with the Go High Level platform. So I said, let me figure out another merchant account that people can use. Let me see if this is a good one. And so I applied. And so I applied, and I'm about to share the screen here. Make sure I can move this over just a bit so we can be good. All right, cool. So on my website, I have as seen on NBC, CBS News, Fox News, ABC, right? And so they're saying, hey, can you send us the links to show that these companies have that was seen on? And so that's fine. However, however, those links are over 5 years old, and the news stations have removed them because we put out a press release, and the press release got picked up by major news stations, those included that are on that were on the screen, and we had the links to them. However, since then, since 2017, they've removed it. Like, why would you keep content on a site for 5+ years or 7+ years that had to do with an event that's in the past, right? And so it's like, I have the links, I have screenshots, right? And so it's kind of like, uh, here, let me share again. Boom, boom, share with you some stuff. Let's see what we can come up with right quick. Hold on, I hear the computer booting up. All right, so for example, here's one for CBS, right? So this is a workshop I did back in 2017. Here's the press release for it, right? And so I have all of these screenshots from, news outlets, right? Here one's from NBC, right? So again, press release. These were the screenshots from the thing. Now, again, from 2017, Jerry, the links to the press releases have been removed because they're not going to keep the stuff. Like, it's not content that would be useful for anyone on their site. So after so many years, they remove it, which makes sense to me. Now this company is like, hey, we want to have the links to the places where that's been. And my thing is like, I'll give you the links, but if the company decide to move it, that's not my fault, and I shouldn't be penalized for having these links. I shouldn't be penalized because they decided to remove the content. And the other thing is, like, my frustration is like, I've been processing for longer than your company's been around. So how are you going to how are you going to have issues with the logos that I have on, from stuff just because I've been successfully doing business for them? So my frustration comes with, like, no matter what side you're on, if you're just starting out, you got these challenges. If you've been doing it for a while, you got these challenges. And it just seems like, listen, man, People are just trying to get going with their business and make money. And if in my thought process, Jerry, well, if I'm having a hard time and I've been doing it, how is someone new going to come along and get an account too? So that was my frustration with that company for this new company we're trying to process with. And what was the other
Yeah, I
question?
get it. No, I get it. I mean, the challenge that I see is like, what do they expect you to do? Like, what do they want? Like, how do you prove it to them if it's something that was, featured in the past? How do you prove it? Uh, to the like, it's like, what more can you provide for them
Yeah, yeah.
than to see that it's real? Um, but the other question was, is there a pattern to who Stripe is, deactivating? Is it just random?
So they are deactivating. So here's two patterns I'm knowing. New businesses, right, that may fall into the category of creator, right? So if they say they're a coaching business, they don't want that. If you're just starting and you don't have anything, they may cut you off. They any type of business that may fall under what they consider high risk. Okay, so the information business is typically considered a high risk business because people are purchasing things they haven't seen and or can't touch, and that information is supposed to allow them to have a result, and they may or may not have a result, and if they don't have the result, they're going to ask for a refund. So they are shutting down new accounts that fall within what they consider a high risk business opportunity. So new and high risk is what they're shutting down. And also the other category is information type businesses where the main product is information. They don't want that. So for me, because I have more of a service type business, we will, create um, funnels, and we have software involved and websites involved and access to those websites. I don't typically fall in information type business. But for other people who are getting accounts shut down, those are the categories that seem to be struggling at the moment.
Yeah. And that's the challenge. So you were basically looking out for this because you were trying to figure out what are some solutions for the folks who lost Stripe, and then you go to other merchant account. They're making you jump through all these hoops and to prove that what you did is valid. So somebody getting started, if you're having difficulty, then somebody new is going to even have even more difficulty. So what would you suggest to a person who needs to process electronic payments? We know PayPal's out there. We know Square is out there. What other options do you think a person could possibly use?
Square typically doesn't work with a lot of online services, right? At least for the most part, at least for the ones that I know of, like certain customer relationship management systems like Entreport, Keep, Go High Level, those don't work with Square. So you're stuck with the ones that they do offer. So here is the order in which I would try to process, and I'll tell you some of the challenge with them. But these are the ones that are typically accepted by most. Okay, uh, Authorize.net is one of the oldest and one of the most stable. They typically will look for established businesses. So if you're brand new, you may have a hard time getting started with Authorize.net, but again, it's always worth a try. The other thing is with Authorize.net, their reoccurring billing is not good. Like they will set up a reoccurring billing, but if the card doesn't go through for whatever reason, let's say not insufficient funds or the expiration date expires, if it doesn't go through, it just stops that reoccurring billing. And they don't notify you. Like they don't tell you, hey, such and such payment didn't process. It's just like, oh, that didn't work. And because and that's the end of it. It stops the reoccurring billing. So it's one of the ones that if your business relies on reoccurring billing, you may want to be aware of that before you go after Authorize.net. Stripe is by far the one that will accept the funds the quickest. They have a different type of relationship with the merchant accounts, meaning they know the credit card numbers, if it's an actual card or not. And if the client puts in a real valid card, they're going to grab that money, which I love. The challenge with Stripe is that they will one take 3 days to deposit the money into your account. So, and that's business days. So if you do it on like a Friday, it doesn't start moving until next week, right? So it's a little bit slow that way. Their reoccurring works great, and they are connected with a lot of other systems. A lot of people use Stripe, so Stripe is one of the ones I would recommend if you can get in there and stay away from the information type businesses as far as creating your account. Um, and so the advice I'd have is get as many as you can, because if one goes down, you always have another, right? So I have authorize.net, I have PayPal, and I have Stripe. So if push comes to shove, I could always lean on another one in case one gets shut down. And if you are in business and you have money rolling, right, you have cash flow, the last thing you want is for a merchant to shut down and now you're scrambling because you don't have anything else. So, my advice is get more than one, okay? And try to get the ones that work with your payment system so that if one goes down, you can plug in another one. You may have to get clients to, re-sign up for things, but they can't re-sign up if you don't have a merchant account. So make sure you have more than one, and that's my advice, and that's what I'd recommend as of right now. And just know that regardless whether you are been processing or you're brand new, it's a challenge, it's a pain, it's frustrating. So just know that sometimes this is part of this entrepreneur journey. There's things you have to deal with. Um, deal with it, do what you got to do, because once you get approved and accepted, you typically don't have to worry about that anymore, because now you're processing funds and you're collecting money. So that's my advice, bro.
Yeah, and some of the things that a new person might not have the same issue. Like the one of the issues you came across was because you had those logos. If we did not have those logos, do you think it would have been a difference?
Well, no, they're telling me if I can't provide the links, take them off. And so, that's why I was saying, like, sometimes these things are frustrating. Is I'll just take them off. Um, you know, if they don't accept the broken links that I'm going to send them, because I'm going to send them all the links. I'm like, oh, you want the links? Here you go.
Right.
Here you go. Here's all the links. Um, and
Got
we'll
it.
see what
Got it.
happens. But I am going to voice my opinion. Be like, look, man, I'm going to have reservations about bringing you guys people, because this is some crap, right? You're looking at things that don't matter. Like, and I get it. People throw up logos and they don't really have proof, right? But at the same time, you have to understand, okay, this is how I did this. This is how you do that. And and I've done this for so long, now you're telling me because that, these links are broken, it may be an issue. And it's kind of like, yo, I need you to understand, you have to look at the whole picture. You can't be like, oh, you don't have links. Okay, well, I had links. So what does that mean? I gotta keep active links? Like, I'm not in control of when they shut down their links. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I also have proof. Like, it's like I showed screenshots. Like, this is where it was. Here's the date, yo. This is a while ago. Anyway,
Right.
that's my.
Which
I'll
will
step.
which for those who are listening, I mean, one of the tips you can pull from this is documentation. So when stuff pops, like if you hit a certain benchmark or success point, capture it. Like if somebody sends you a testimonial, take a picture of it. So you have actual proof or record, because you can lose. I sometimes I scan stuff, right, because you can always lose a paper copy of a test. Somebody sends you a thank you card and it has a testimonial in there. Well, you scan it, then you have proof in case you ever lose the card. So those are things that Greg says. He took a picture of the article because the article, the website, the thing could be gone over time. Like there's certain things people hold on to forever on their internet, and there's certain things they clean up after certain periods of time, because those stories um, aren't even like archivable. It's just like, okay, it's like cleaning up your inbox, like you take out every email, like, oh, we don't need this anymore.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Well, listen, man, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any questions or issues with your merchant account, anything I can be assistance with, please reach out and let us know. And if you know someone who is struggling and needs to hear this information, please share our show with them. Will be greatly appreciated. Jerry, man, until
And if
next
you're
week.
having a situation,
Yeah.
if you have a story where you had an issue, because again, the community of technology, technologytuesday.com is that people can benefit from your experiences. So what have you done if you experienced a challenge in getting a merchant account? What are some of the solutions that you've come up with as a way to work around it or to move it forward? As they say on Luke Cage, always forward, forward always.
Awesome. Listen, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Technology Tuesday. Please join our group at technologytuesday.com and let us know if you have any questions or anything we can help you with. Until next week, have a great weekend and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.